Hi, my name is Carmen Tan Ke Wen and my metric number is 2936662. In this video, I am going to present about company performance and its determinants of New Hong FATT Holdings Berhad, which called NHF. New Hong FATT Berhad NHF has established in 1977 as a trading company has evolved into a leading manufacturer of automotive metal and plastic components. With over 40 years of operation, NHF is a major player in Malaysia, serving as a primary distributor of car parts through a vast network of over 1,000 wholesalers and retailers. The company's success extends globally, reaching 60 countries, including key automotive markets like Japan, Germany, and Korea. Committed to producing high-quality oil-based products and auto parts, NHF continues to have a significant impact in both national and international automotive sector. In this study, there are three objectives to determine or to define the company performance. The first is to ascertain the internal factor that could have influence on New Hong FATT Holdings Berhad performance. The second objective is to identify the external factor that could have influence on New Hong FATT Holdings Berhad performance. And the third objective is to investigate the internal and external factor that could be influenced on New Hong FATT Holdings Berhad. There are three questions to ask, which is there any relationship between the internal factors with New Hong FATT Holdings Berhad performance? The next question is there any relationship between the external factor with New Hong FATT Holdings Berhad performance? And for the last question is there any relationship between internal and external factor with New Hong FATT Holdings Berhad performance? In this study, I will focus on the return on equity that will determine the performance on NHF Holdings Berhad. ROE ratio is chosen as a main dependence variable and coming with the independent variable, which are internal factor, external factor, and internal and external factor. ROE is a measure of company's profitability and its efficiency in generating profit. The higher the ROE, the better the company's ability to convert equity financing into profit. For this study, there are 6 elements, which are company performance, corporate governance, liquidity risks, credit risk, operational risks, and market risk. In this slide, the dependence variable, ROE, will be tested with the independent variable including return on asset, current ratio, operational ratio, operating margin, debt to income, average collection period, and corporate governance index under internal variable. And for the external variable are the gross domestic product, unemployment, inflation rate, interest rate, foreign exchange rate, and industrial product. To define NHF Holdings Berhad performance, the data are collected from annual report of 2018 until 2022, which is 5 years. Then the data will be listed systematically in Excel following the internal and external factor, which is in ordinary least square or LS. Afterward, the data will be analyzed with statistical package of all social science SPSS software. Based on the descriptive statistic table, there are 5 value observations. The first column is show the dependence variable and independent variable that tested to NHF Holdings Berhad performance. The first one is return on equity ROE is dependent variable and start from return on asset. That is the second one until the last one, corporate governance index, CG index, all are the independent variable. The second column is the mean of each variable and the standard deviation is at the third column. In this study, the New Hong FATT Holdings Berhad financial performance revealed that the ROE is moderately, significantly, and negatively correlated with the debt-to-income ratio, which is p-value equal to 0.022. Additionally, a positive and moderately significant correlation is observed between ROE and the average collection period, which is p-value equal to 0.044, indicating that a shorter collection period is preferred for effective receivable management. However, the variables such as current ratio, operating margin, inflation rate, exchange rate, unemployment rate, interest rate, GDP growth rate, industrial product rate, and CG index does not show significant correlation with ROE, which is p-value more than 0.10. In model summary, the three internal factors are corporate governance index, operational ratio, and operating margin. From the R-square, 0.798 of the variance is ROE can be predicted from the internal factor, and the adjusted R-square 0.194 for the external variable. There are three external factors, which is industrial product rate, GDP growth, and unemployment. From the R-square, the three variables can expand as 0.944, signifying that the model now explains approximately 94.4% of the variability in ROE, and adjusted R-square is 0.777. It is a positive value. Moving to the internal and external variable. The two variables are internal factors, which is corporate government index and debt to income, while the one variable of external factor is interest rate. From the R-square that shows 1.00 of the variance in ROE can be predicted from this independent variable. On the other hand, let's look at the ANOVA table. For the internal variable, the F ratio is equal to 1.321 and the p-value is 0.552. This means the model is not good fit for the data because the p-value is more than 0.1. Next, for the external variable, the F ratio and p-value are 5.637 and 0.298 respectively. For the internal and external variable ANOVA, the F ratio is 816.752 and for the p-value is 0.26. Now, come to coefficient table. First, we're looking at the internal variable. The result all three variables that can be tested with ROE, which are operating ratio, operating margin, and corporate governance index. This shows that none of these variables is significant to the dependence variable. Next, for the external variable based on the result, unemployment rate, GDP growth, and industrial product rate, none of the independent variables significantly affected the dependence variable, which is ROE, due to the p-value is bigger than 0.1. Lastly, for the internal and external coefficient table, the result shows that debt to income is positive significant to ROE with a p-value of 0.015, whereas the interest rate is negatively moderated and significant with p-value of 0.028. From the data analysis, a deeper examination of individual variables reveals that for both internal and external factors, none of the variables, except for the debt to income, demonstrate statistically significant effect on ROE. In conclusion, through a comprehensive statistical analysis of NHF financial data, we find that the debt-to-income ratio has a positive significance in predicting ROE, while the observed interest rate has a moderately negative significance in predicting ROE. These findings highlight the intricate and multifaceted relationship between debt-related factors and ROE in NHF Holding Berhad, and provide a valuable insight into the impact of financial variables on company performance. Thank you.